Welcome to WeboManiacs World of Wrestling. I am the WeboManiac, and today we have an exciting show for you, including Shane's Comedy Corner. Don't forget to catch that. And also Austin Blaze, as he's calling himself in his backyard wrestling career, will be joining me later on here in WeboManiacs World of Wrestling as we discuss top topics here. And this week's top topic is going to be none other than heels that played the role of the heel so well that you wished that they were not there anymore, or you're happy to see them gone. Who's done that? We have a few ideas, and we'll discuss that and a lot more coming up, including updates from around the wrestling world brought to you by me, WeboManiac. We're also going to see the rising stars in NXT, as Austin Blaze will be telling you a lot more about who's on the rise in NXT as a superstar for WWE. All that and a lot more coming up here on WeboManiacs World of Wrestling. Are you a wrestling fan like us? Get your fix here in WeboManiacs World of Wrestling. We cover everything from interviews to just anything that you can think of to discuss pro wrestling, storylines, and much more. All right here in WeboManiacs World of Wrestling.
Hey, all you stay-at-home parents and entrepreneurs out there, if you're thinking about starting your own online business, whether it's a service, e-commerce, or any kind of business, head over to levelingupwithg.com. Check out my free masterclass, and after you watched it, be sure to book your free call today. Remember, levelingupwithg.com is the place to be.
Due to unfortunate circumstances, Austin will not be doing his Rising Star segment this week, so I will temporarily be filling in for Austin Blaze, as he will be back next week on WeboManiacs World of Wrestling. Now, today's Rising Stars, who I see will be, per se, called to the main roster as their curtain call and NXT comes to a close. One that caught my eye, he kind of reminds me of a young Kofi Kingston. Got the it factors, got loads of talent, and that one, Javon Evans. Another rising star will be Jada Parker from OTM, Out the Mud. She has, what you say, a Nicole Bass vibe. Incredibly strong. Tough as nails superstar. You would not want to mess with her in the ring. But if you did, oh boy, you would better look out. Another one would be the current NXT North American Champion, Oba Femi. Loads. Oh my God. You talk about an unstoppable force. You talk about he's got a mix of a young Brock Lesnar. Oh my God. Step in the ring with him, he's gonna put you out. But don't forget about Trick Williams. Whoop that trick. Loads of potential. And once he gets called to the main roster, I guarantee you'll see a run-up of reuniting the rivalry of Trick and Carmelo Hayes. That will be an interesting rivalry. So there you have it, folks. My final rising star would be Charlie Dempsey, son of William Regal, the Heritage Cup champion. Loads of potential. If they keep pushing him the way that they're doing, he could be soon called up to the main roster. And the storylines that they will have for him will be must see. Those are my top rising stars. Who's your rising star? As you see going to the top main roster, write us at WeboManiacs@yahoo.com. This has been WeboManiacs, World of Wrestling's top rising stars.
Thank you, Shane, for that insightful information on NXT's Rising Stars. Don't forget, folks, you can also catch Shane's Comedy Corner here in WeboManiacs World of Wrestling. And next week's top topic will be, we are going to discuss the territories system. Territories, and where would they be if they weren't bought up? Where would we be in wrestling today if the territories still existed? We're going to cover that, as well as, like I said, more NXT Rising Stars, more Shane's Comedy Corner, and get all your updated information in World of Wrestling here in WeboManiacs World of Wrestling. Thanks for watching.
Joining me now is your friend and mine, subbing in for Austin Blaze. We have the creator of our Comedy Corner, Shane Savoy. Shane, welcome to WeboManiacs World of Wrestling.
Pleasure to be here.
And let's just give the fans something to understand about you. What's your background as a wrestling fan? How long have you watched wrestling?
Almost 21 years.
Almost 21 years. And how old are you?
Yes. 20.
How old? You're 20. So you've watched wrestling since birth?
Yes, basically.
Wow. I mean, what did he do, folks? Did he roll around counting the pin and fell out of the crib thinking he was broken in half from a Hell in a Cell match or something? I mean, this is...
Yes, that's exactly what I did.
And he landed on his head, and he hasn't been the same since. That's the comedy for y'all, folks, here in WeboManiacs World of Wrestling. Catch us weekly with Shane's Comedy Corner. Now, getting to today's topic. Today's topic is heels that you wish were gone or are happy that they are. In the business of wrestling, there's two types, as Austin and I have lined out in past episodes. That's heel and babyface. Okay, one has to elevate the other. So one goes up, one goes down, and everything. So in this particular instance, we're discussing the heels of professional wrestling, and as we've mentioned on many a times, wrestling is a staged performance, and it is never to be lost sight of just that. Instead of just griping about how this didn't work out or that didn't work out, this didn't make money, that didn't make money. Of course, people are in certain businesses to make money. And of course, if you're affected by it, you're going to be maybe a little bit bitter. But this show is based on fans' opinion, and we here at WeboManiacs World of Wrestling would like to hear yours, just as I'm going to ask Shane here, Shane Savoy. I want to start by asking you: do you have any particular, not favorite heels, but do you have any heels that played the role so well that you just be glad to not see them near a wrestling ring again?
3 come to mind.
All right, let's hear number 1.
First would be Gene Snitsky and
Gene
his rivalry with
Snitsky.
Kane.
Okay. And what particularly about Snitsky and his rivalry with Kane is it that would say gotten under your skin?
The miscarriage he caused Lita, saying, "It's not my fault." And where he punted that baby doll. Ooh.
So in the sense of, not really, we're not going Marxism here or something here, folks, but in foreseeing what you saw, you took the impression that was of him actually punting that baby doll like a football, and it just sort of it messed with you.
Yes.
Wow. And what would
he played
be
the role so well?
What would be another reason though for Snitsky to, besides the baby doll, what would be, and besides the "it's not my fault"? I mean, that's his line actually, or something that he's supposed to say as part of his character, which builds his career, in things and everything. And a lot of people in or not even knowing about the business need to understand that particular difference is in fact there, that they're not the monsters they portray. Just as we had a tribute about a monstrous figure in one Sid Udy, rest in peace to him. He was a monster figure. He was menacing. He sent people to the hospital, much like he gave those impressions that that's what he was doing. And he even said, when offered to take the spot of Hulk Hogan, when Vince was looking to basically build up after Hulk was ready to leave, he actually turned to Sid and wanted to say, how about you be the next one? And he says, no, thank you. He's like, I feel better playing a heel. So guys that play heels, they've told many times when they've been interviewed that it's the most fun when you're actually a heel, so that they can hate you then, but love you more for what you did later on. You got your Gene Snitsky. One that I want to bring to mind is none other than the nature boy, Ric Flair. I myself allowed myself to get caught up in what the Horsemen did to Dusty Rhodes as well as others, Sting included, when the famed leg break attack on Sting, and for him to come back and take that title at the Great American Bash and everything, it sealed the moment and made Sting rise up more as a face, but made those Horsemen look like horses' patooties in my eyes. And it was more or less a thing where what Flair was doing, and the more they keep portraying him as dirtiest player in the game, it's like, it's because he was just that.
Very much so.
He would punch you with his right in the nuts.
Yeah.
He would do a low blow right in the middle of the ring. Sometimes to get disqualified, sometimes to do it intentionally, so that he'd hold on to the title. What say you on this? You're rather quiet on this. Let me hear what you've got to say about Ric Flair. I heard what you had to say about Snitsky. Now let's hear what you've got to tell me about Ric Flair. Did you think he was too good of a heel to say that's part of what made him the man in most people's eyes?
Very much so.
Anything else?
The fact of the matter is, he played the heel so well, but most guys as a babyface didn't want to face him because he was that too good.
So if they were a babyface, they didn't want to face him. So would that be like guys like Hacksaw Butch Reed that decided he needed to be a bad guy because he didn't want to face somebody like Ric Flair? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
That's very interesting. And we'd like to know what you fans have to say on this particular topic as we're continuing our discussion on heels that you are either glad are no longer there or wish that they weren't. And we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to disrespect the dead. As I had made a mention, the appearance of a monster figure such as one who's recently passed on, and that's one that hits me just so hard. I still can't believe that Sid Udy, aka Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, Lord Humongous, whoever you want to call him as, is no longer with us. So we do send our condolences to his family. But moving on, let's talk about another particular type of heel. It could be either it could be a wrestler, it could be a manager, it could be anybody. I have one manager in mind, and that is one James E. Cornette. Him and his sailor potty mouth self that was allowed to say and do whatever he wanted back during those times, wielding that tennis racket. I sometimes just wished and thought that he was actually just talking away until it was time to go to the ring, and I thought he would leave the ring just because he was going out to go play tennis. What do you think about Jim Cornette?
He should have never entered the business, period.
You really think so? Would it what would be the impact of these heels we're mentioning? You mentioned Snitsky, I mentioned Ric Flair. What would it be in the business if you didn't have these heel roles? Could you
You wouldn't.
could you visualize the matches that other certain superstars that rose to stardom as a face uh, without the proper heel to raise them higher on that bar? Do you really feel we would have matches like that without somebody like Ric Flair?
No.
Would we have the Midnight Express? Would we have FTR
The young
without James E.
Kane.
Cornette? Huh?
Nope. We wouldn't have FTR if we didn't have the Acclaimed.
The Acclaimed and FTR. That's one that'll be coming up in my updates segment and everything. Y'all need to stay tuned for something along that lines. But we're about 15 or so minutes in here now. I just want to get back to this because we're going to cover a lot here, and y'all can write us at WeboManiac@yahoo.com if you'd like to pitch a topic, what you think should be brought in on this show. Please do so by writing us at WeboManiac@yahoo.com. Now, it's your turn. What heel in your list that you feel either should never been or you wish they were already gone?
Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner. Well, he is retired, pretty much. The big booty daddy is still out there doing his, I think he does his shtick out there probably on the indies or something.
He should just stop at this point.
You think so? Okay.
Yes. He already proved his work in the ring, but he already proved his work in the ring, but I don't think he should have ever played as a heel. I mean, he played it to a certain point, but after a while, the stuff he was doing, it just got old real fast. It just got old with the fans, and they didn't want to see any more of it.
I have a question here for you. Can a heel's persona get as stale as even a face's persona? Case in point, one of my all-time favorites, the one that has inspired me basically to want to do this kind of show, of course, no lie here, folks. Hulk Hogan, okay, the character that Terry Bollea played in the major parts of his career and everything, the routine of the 3 punches to the face, Irish whip, big boot, leg drop, 1, 2, 3. Fans relatively got stale with it. And that's why the NWO faction came about. I want to ask this question to you, Shane. Do you think that heel personas can get as stale as that of a face?
Yes.
And why?
Because once the fan knows the routine very well, they'll eventually get tired of seeing it and probably want them to either go back as a face or just leave the company.
Well,
fans want to see something new.
In mentioning your choice in Ric Flair, and that was just on a total randomness, I want to further that elaboration by basically saying the chops, the consistent chops of Ric Flair and the fans with woo on every single chop. Do you think fans are also getting tired of certain things as the what chant in there from Stone Cold Steve Austin, because he played a heel pretty darn good too, until certain things about heels became cool that they just had to become baby faces. And that's the other side of the turn that involves how these things play about in storylines, don't you think?
Yes, very much so.
What else would you have to
Because
say on it?
that heel, without that heel, that baby face that's a rivalry with, I think the heel and the baby face, when they rival, that they bring each other's careers up.
Yeah,
They
they
try to
do.
make that other superstar better.
What do you do when you have two faces in there at each other then?
You make a compromising situation.
So one has to step up, one steps aside.
Yes,
Essentially,
basically.
when it's two faces, someone's got to be the jobber.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And any other particular heels that you feel? I mean, you mentioned, I mentioned Cornette, I mentioned Flair, you mentioned Snitsky, and who else was it you had mentioned?
Boogeyman.
Yeah, Boogeyman. Now, Boogeyman is more along the lines. I think I can understand where you'd be coming from, because it's one of those creep you out kind of things when you would see him
Oh, he did
actually,
that very well when I was a kid.
when he would actually, you go ahead and finish my line there. What did he do? What did the Boogeyman do?
He basically ate earthworms, and if you lost to him, if you was a face and you lost to him when he was a heel, he basically just spit him at you and let them crawl around at you. That was freaking disgusting. And
Camera. There you go.
by the way, those were real earthworms he was using.
Yeah,
He
but
said in one of his posts that he used real earthworms when he was doing the Boogeyman character.
wow.
Ugh. Ugh.
How about smashing that clock on his head like that? Did that just make
God.
you want to? Did that make you want to just like leave the room, or
Yes,
something like?
every time he smashed that clock, I honestly thought, okay, he's dead. That was
Well,
real
that'd
class,
be
by the way.
well, that'd be like some of these fireworks that go off, and we've noticed certain things like on Jeff Hardy had suffered the fireworks burn and stuff like that and everything. But folks,
Quite a few
we're
times,
gonna
actually.
wrap up. We're gonna wrap up on here, as I think we've talked to you a great deal here about the heels and who we wished wasn't really there. See, management doesn't really know a lot that what us fans feel or did feel about certain things. A lot of times it's too late to go back and change it now or something. But the only thing you can change is the fact that one was called WWE and the other one was called, can't really say it because it's copyright infringement and everything, but it was just one letter off, and they told you in a campaign, get the F out.
Basically.
You know, that's all I will say really about that one on there. And on that note, we're getting out, but stay tuned as I'll be giving you the updates for both for all. Stay tuned for that.
WeboManiacs, World of Wrestling. I am the WeboManiac, and I am going to be telling you about all the goings on in and out of that squared circle. Join me and Austin Goudreau every Saturday Tune in next week for more updates from WeboManiacs World of Wrestling.
I hear voices in my head, most of them are still singing Fandango's theme. My name is John Cena, and I'm never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you. You can look, but you can't touch, so you think you're untouchable. That moment when your dad sees your report card. I demand respect. It doesn't matter what you demand. Does it now, Dwayne? Dean! Roman! I hear the ice cream truck. Shut up and take my money. We're coming. Believe in the Shield. Hey, Shinsuke. I got the money in the bank contract. That's cool. I got something you'll never have. Oh, really? What's that? Bonds. When you are with your boys, when you're with your girlfriend's parents, when you realize you kissed Paige's belt. Dating my daughter? Suspended. Dating my daughter? Promoted. Read me more. When you get permission from your wife to hang out with the boys. The moment you realize Dreamer got a hard on with Pal John Balula. This has been Shane's Comedy Corner. Thanks for watching. More memes next week here in WeboManiacs World of Wrestling.